Hey, gang. Doesn't look like anybody's in here just yet, but I see Chris waiting backstage. So he's definitely going to be joining me for Blood Diner, which we're going to get started here in just a sec after I get through with my rambling announcements and stuff. So we know what we're doing tonight for the watch along, but tomorrow night's watch along is going to be for Multiplicity. Sorry for the glare there, starring Michael Keaton and Amy McDowell. Um, Candace is definitely planning on joining me for that one. We might have Chris for that one too. I'm not sure. Perhaps I can ask him when I get him on here in just a sec. Um, Also, I wanted to show the mock up of the new t shirts for Friday Foolish. Um, and I see Candace behind Chris now. But this is, whew, I hope y'all can see that, but this is the design that's going to be used on the t shirts. And these are the t shirts that me and Candace are going to be premiering as soon as I get off my lazy butt and get the design actually transferred on the t-shirts. And soon they will be available after we get ours, and we're both wearing ours on the show. They will be available on the Deadites on Deck shop for you to purchase. Hey, Blissful. And so I've also got a movie munchies planned. That's a recipe taken from the book that Candace and Chris sent to me, the Death for Dinner book. I wanted to do another Evil Dead themed recipe, so I'm doing chili Necronomicon corn. So that looked delicious to me. So we're going to be having that along with Totally 80s cheese sauce, which is also taken from that book. So uh, kind of going to be two recipes in one with that. Um, oh, thank you, Blissful. I don't think the design turned out too bad. I actually had to remind myself though before I printed out on transfer paper, I had to flip the design because if you put it just like it is on there, it's not going to transfer correctly. It'll be backwards when you transfer it. So you got to make it backwards first before you transfer it. Um, so we've got one more watch along and a movie munchies planned for tomorrow. The movie munchies is 3 p.m. Eastern time, unless I have technical difficulties. The watch along for Multiplicity will be 7 p.m. Eastern time. Um, oh yeah, TJ, you can join. Let me give you the link. I'll send it in Facebook Messenger real quick here for you. Uh, there we go. Well, maybe. There we go. I don't know if it. All right, TJ. So I sent that link to you. Hey, Candace, you say love the shirt, Nina. That turned out great. Yeah, that's just the mock up, but that is the design that I'm planning on using, which is the sign for our thumbnail and part of our intro and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and add Chris while we're waiting for TJ, and we'll wait for TJ before we actually get the movie started. Hey, Chris.
Hey Dana, how's it going?
Good. It's Saturday. The weekend's not over yet. We still got part of our weekend left, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's. I'm always glad when Saturday rolls around because that always means for me a day off from work.
That's
Yeah, I have Saturday and Sunday off, and that's my schedule pretty much stays the same when it comes to work like that. But yeah, it usually like where I work all through the week though, like everything piles up on the weekend for as far as like housework and or yard work or whatever, and but today's not been too hectic, I guess. Me and Candace kind of like, you know, worked together a lot today to get some stuff done around the house, and I've been looking forward to this all day, pretty much.
Yeah, I was hoping I'd see Uncle Bill in here because this is one of his favorite movies.
Yeah, I thought he might stop by too. He did a stream last night with Rambo and Stuntman Mark, and they were just basically just talking about like what's new, what's coming up in horror and all that. And but they had a pretty long stream last night. It was pretty good. I stuck around for a little bit on it. But yeah, I was hoping to see him on here as well, Dana, because I know he
He
does
may
love this movie.
he may be busy with his kiddos, or him and
Well,
Savannah might
that's
be
true. That's understandable too. I know how that goes.
busy. Right. I've just got pets, I don't have any kiddos that, got to be paid attention to all the time. But
Well, it's basically the same responsibilities if you ask me, Dana, because we got pets too, and like pretty much everything I got to do for Noah or my nephews when they come by, I do the same thing: feed them, clean up after them. It's just how pets are too.
mm, well, probably Noah at his age, he's a little more self sufficient, I bet, than the pets.
Yeah, well, a bit more. I'll just say that.
At least our kids ain't in enclosures and things like that. They can, they're out and about. They can
Right,
move around
right.
and all that. Um, and TJ's TJ Lewis today, so so I'm gonna go ahead and add TJ here. Hey TJ,
Hey,
Hey, you two, how's it going?
good. We're
it's
just talking
going.
about how it's great that it's Saturday and not Sunday evening.
Yeah, all the weekends kind of meld together.
I agree. I agree with that.
So what shirt you got on tonight, TJ?
Uh, Toxic Zombie.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple of Blood Diner shirts, but I was like, I'm watching Blood Diner. I'm gonna wear the shirt for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we see everything in the movie, I guess.
yeah.
Right.
I don't have any Blood Diner shirts. I mean, honestly, they've not made a lot of merchandise for that film. Unfortunately, I mean, I would love to have like a Sheetar action figure,
Yeah, that'd be
That
cool.
would be cool. Yeah.
but I got my Return of the Living Dead. I don't know if you can see that over my mic, but I got my
Oh,
Nice,
Starman.
Tarzan. Yeah.
nice.
I got the Terror Thread shirt
Yeah.
for Sleepaway Camp that I got at Horror Hound.
Yeah, I love that shirt, Dana. I was actually going to pick that up there too, but they didn't have my size by the time I got over there to get it. But I'll probably end up ordering one from their website.
Yeah, they've got a lot of cool stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it ain't cheap, but if you can
Ah,
catch them at conventions, they're a little bit cheaper than the website. But
yeah.
um, so I wanted to let everybody know where I was queued up at, and I've also put a link in the chat. If you go to Roku.com, you can watch Blood Diner that way if you don't have your own copy of it. Um, and I have the Vestron Collectors
Yeah,
series.
I got that one too.
That's what you got too, TJ. How are you watching it, Chris?
I've actually got it queued up on the Roku channel.
Okay.
I have a physical copy of it, but it's not the Vestron Video Blu-ray release. It's on like a some kind of multi-pack DVD, like Blood Diner, and I can't remember what else is
Oh,
on. There's like
yeah,
four
there's.
movies or something on there.
Mhm.
But I just said, hey, I'm going to be lazy and just pull it up on the Roku channel.
But I have mine queued up to just where it's saying warning, the truly unusual motion picture, and it shows the second line, and that's where I've got it stopped. It's 9 seconds in on the Vestron Video Blu ray. So I'll give everybody a minute
See
or
if I
two to
can
get
get
it
there.
queued up.
I may have to mute mine.
I didn't. Is it an artist in the picture? I didn't. On the Roku, it says that. I was like, I didn't know it was an artist.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize that either. I mean, Lionsgate's attached to it if you look at the Vestron one.
They ain't producing the new Blair Witch, I'm gonna guess. Which is a stupid idea, but whatever.
Right. And Blissful saying hi to Chris.
Oh, hey, Blissful.
Blissful never misses a stream unless she, goes for a nap and, wakes up late and is like, oh my gosh, Dana's got a stream, because she's told me that before. She's like, I woke up and I realized you had a stream going on.
If it's a day of the week, you can guarantee that Dana has a stream.
Steve says I need to quit having streams 7 days a week.
I admire your dedication, Dana. I really do.
Steve says I'm going to wear myself out, and I think TJ's worried about me doing that too and getting sick.
Yeah, because you get sick.
It's easy for that to happen because I run that Joe Bob says check it out Instagram page. And there for a while, I was like putting content on there every single day. And I just got to the point where I was like, I can't do this. I got to just do this a few times a week because this is going to burn me out.
Mm-hmm.
But I still do that. I update it, not as much as I used to, but I still put stuff on there every now and then.
I think I have decided finally to not do the movie munchies every Sunday. I'm gonna alternate Sundays where I'll do one this week and then not do one next Sunday, just to give a little more flexibility to things. I used to do a movie munchies on Saturday and Sunday. You remember when I did that, TJ? Mm-hmm. And then it got too much, and I was like, got to cut them out.
And you create backdrops and everything and videos for every one of your series, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Man, I don't know how you do it, Dana, because with having you got so much going on. It's like that had to take a lot of patience, if you ask me.
Sometimes I lose my patience, but I don't think it's necessarily because of this. I think it's outside things that go on sometimes that make me lose my patience.
Life.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you did actual videos, you wouldn't be able to work.
No. Okay, well, it is now 7:14, so I think we'll go ahead and do the countdown and go ahead and get started here. So let's do the 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get started. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press play. I had forgotten that there was this crawl at the beginning with the warning, because it's been a little bit since I watched Blood Dime.
What is this, a book? What are we doing?
Yeah, there is a lot of information there.
This is like Star Wars. They should have the Star Wars theme.
And please do not attempt any of these stunts at home. Well, yeah, we're not going to deep fry women, I hope, or any of that.
Or the wrestling scenes. I don't know if that's going to.
Yeah.
Okay, we're reading it. We read it. There you go.
And Jackie Kong, who was somebody that was hard to find for a long, long time. And
Joe Bob had her on one of the last drive-ins.
That's right, yeah.
When it was COVID, so she couldn't be there physically. She had the TV. It was on the TV.
And this crazy song is appropriate.
Oh, Play-Doh. Great. You ever have one of those cat clocks?
I don't think I ever had one. Chris, did you ever have one?
I think my mom did. I always called them Felix the Cat clocks because they look like Felix the Cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you talk. Jackie Kong did this, and she had only done, I think, one other film before this. or at least one other horror film that I know of. I think it was called The Being, and
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know, she had some trouble, distributing this. I think because like when after it came out, she was trying to reach out to distributors, and they were just kind of like taken aback because they didn't realize she was a woman, and because I guess female directors around this time was kind of unheard of. Although I mean, in the same year this came, because this came out in '87, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Bigelow did Near Dark that same year.
And like the Slumber Party Massacre
Yeah.
films that Roger Corman produced, that they were, I think all of them were directed by women.
Well, I know the second one was, I can't remember her name. I want to say it's like Roberta something or something like that. Could be wrong, but I know the first Slumber Party Massacre was written by a woman, but I don't know if it was directed.
Yeah, it was directed by, oh God, what is her name? Just,
I remember Deborah Brock did part 2. I remember that.
yeah. Oh man, I didn't think I would forget that.
Rita Mae Brown wrote the script. I remember that too. I remember
Yeah, Rita Mae Brown. Wasn't she like a
Mhm.
feminist writer too?
Yeah, that's why it was like a weird thing for her to write horror.
Yeah.
It's very sunny out. The light's coming right through the door.
Yes. Director was Amy Holden Jones.
Amy, that was, yeah.
Okay. I could be wrong about this, but I think it seems like Dead Pit did an interview with maybe Carl Crew or someone years ago from this, and
that was an experience because evidently Carl Crew is pretty crazy in real life, according to Uncle Bill.
Yeah, I knew that Uncle Bill was always infatuated with this movie, and like I said, I remember them kind of doing an interview. Was it Carl Crew? Is that what you said it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought it was because I remember them saying that they were trying to get somebody from the film to interview on the show, but that was probably what 10, 15 years ago or something.
It's been quite a while, yeah.
I'm sorry. Is he supposed to be dressed like the guy, the killer from the original Blood Feast?
I think so. I think they played on a lot of those themes.
Yeah, that's what I was always thought too, because when I first learned about this film, it was told to me that, I don't know if it's true or not, but it was told to me that this was supposed to initially supposed to be a sequel to Blood Feast. And then I guess the script got passed along a bunch of different people, and then once Jackie Khan got a hold of it, I guess she just kind of turned it into her own film.
Right.
So it's like a remake, kind of. I mean,
yeah,
it's basically the same story.
Because I think Blood Feast, the woman or creature or whatever that they were supposed to bring back was
Sheetar.
Is it Sheetar in this and Ishtar or something in Blood?
That was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Dustin Hoffman movie, but
right.
Speaking of bad movies.
Hey,
now those clocks, you can buy them, but they're like $50 because they're retro. Like, okay, I'm not spending $50 for that damn clock.
Well, that's how everything is now. It's retro or vintage. Like it's caught on in popularity nowadays, and they're just like, oh, well, let's charge $50 or more for this sucker.
That's like 4Ks. Hey, that's an old movie. Why is that $60 for a 4K?
Exactly.
Because they know people will pay that.
People were stupid.
Really
anyway.
Well, I'm in the stupid people club because
that's why I said we. That's why I meant me and everybody else. I love the old movies where they used to just put gray makeup on people to make them look like they were older.
Mm-hmm.
Like this guy.
Yeah,
that's clearly a wig.
Yeah, the eyebrows just put gray.
I love this that Uncle Anwar spends the majority of this movie as a brain and eyeballs in a jar yelling at these boys.
That's another figure I'd like to see, the jar. Like, that
Oh,
would make a
yeah.
cool figure.
I think that could easily be. I'd probably get Candace to make one of those because
Yeah, I bet she could.
I bet she could easily do that. I
I'd
think.
buy it.
I think I'm a few seconds behind because it just now got to the part for mine where they're the night watchman is coming up on the grave where they're down in the grave
Oh,
digging.
okay.
So yeah,
So they just killed the night watchman here.
yeah. If I remember, like it'll show it for me here in a few seconds. But like Georgie has like abnormal strength. He just tossed.
He just tossed that guy over his shoulder.
Well, when you see it, it's a puppet, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Anwar doesn't look too good there. He looks like he's been on the death diet or something.
Oh, yeah.
You guys a little bit.
Oh.
All right.
I'd like to have that prop.
It's
there.
probably gone.
Oh, probably. Or if it is still around, God knows what somebody would want for it. Batman, you say you were going to save this for later, but you just bought a VHS trilogy box set of Porky's on eBay.
Oh, gotta watch that.
Yeah, I love the Porky's films.
Mm-hmm.
Those films would not work in today's society.
No.
I mean, you'd have to really like revamp the.
Speaking of stuff that wouldn't get made now, I was watching The Toxic Avenger last night on Joe Bob, and I was like, there is no way.
They did remake it, but it still hasn't been released.
Right.
Peter Dinklage in it as Toxie, which I still don't. Whatever.
Has it not been? I thought I'd seen where they did like a screening or something for it.
Mm.
I knew they remade and Peter, and I think Elijah Wood is in it as well. I think Elijah Wood might play the villain in it, but it seems like I did see a couple reviews from it, and it was, maybe some early screenings or something of it, but it just was. I don't know. I haven't seen anything great about it as of yet.
Wow.
It's crazy. Like, this was supposed to have been initially, like I said, a sequel to Blood Feast. And, while I guess, it's kind of the same thing. Like a lot of the actors in Blood Feast were kind of unknown, just majority of the actors in this one were pretty unknown as well. And I don't really know of them going on and doing anything else after this.
Why does that guy look like he's going to a disco?
Because it was the 80s? I don't know. He looks like a reject from Three's Company. That's what he looks like.
He does. He looks like Larry from Three's Company. Wow, I've never noticed that.
There's more eyebrow makeup on the.
I love that guy's voice, though. Whoever's dubbing over him is so funny.
Oh my God, those pants. I forgot about those pants.
Did Chevy Chase wear those in Caddyshack? Those pants?
Rodney Dangerfield probably wore pants like that.
Hey ho, hey ho. That's my impression.
So,
nice clothes they got on. There's Uncle Anwar.
Oh, this Roku thing's got ads. Wonderful.
Oh, crap. Sorry about that, Chris.
Oh, it's on me.
I thought there was a link on YouTube, but when I went to it said this video is not available, so they probably yanked it or some reason for copyright or whatever.
And for these guys, the main guys, Mike and Georgie, for them to be kind of unknown actors, I think they did a really good job in this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're just kind of your typical '80s horror actors, but they kind of all acted a little bit, on par. Because it really, when you're doing '80s horror, it doesn't take a whole lot of acting skills, I don't think.
Might take some skills to chop those onions like that.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
probably be missing a finger if I did that.
I wonder if that was really him, if that was just some guy, some other guy.
I don't know. It didn't show his face at the same time.
Oop. Sorry.
I guess these girls are supposed to be cheerleaders, but man,
Uh-huh.
those two there, they look way, way too old.
Yeah, I think she mentions in here a second, like that she's like on the cheerleading squad. The one girl with like the mullet or whatever has got like she's like the captain, and she's talking about how there's some other cheerleading squad like competing with them, and she's trying to add like aerobics and stuff to their team.
Yeah.
Maybe they're college cheerleaders. There we go. Like in the cemetery where the brain just pops out of the head, like, okay.
Yeah. Uncle Anwar, maybe he's cranky because he died and had to spend time in that casket till they got him out. But he seemed to be nicer to the boys when they were young. Now he's all cranky and yells at them all the time.
Well, he could kill people because he had a body. He can't do that now that he's stuck in a
He's
jar.
frustrated.
Should have got that song "Brain in a Jar" by Dookie Flyswatter.
Right.
The one that's in Nightmare Sisters. I think his band still performs too. Haunted Garage is the name of the band.
Batman said he just subbed to your channel, TJ.
Oh, good. I should put content on there sometime.
You have content on there.
Yeah, but it's the same stuff that's been up there for 100 years. Well, those little, the earring's interesting.
So Connie's supposed to be the virginal female in here.
I'm guessing that's a reference to Connie Mason from the original Blood Feast. It would make sense. I don't know.
Connie Mason that read her lines off the furniture in the room, and it's...
Well, that's what H.G. Lewis would say. She was basically pretty furniture because she couldn't act at all. No. But even with two of the movies, so I mean, she's in 2000 Maniacs, right?
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to meet Herschel Gordon Lewis? Either of you?
I did not.
He was he made an appearance years ago. I think it was maybe like a couple of years before he passed at Cinema Wasteland, and
hello,
topless aerobics or topless cheerleading or whatever it is. Sorry, Chris.
You're fine. No, that's fine. But I was supposed to have went to that show, and something happened, and I didn't get to go, and sadly, I didn't see him at any more shows after that. And then he passed. So, but yeah, I love Herschel Gordon Lewis, that's for sure, and a lot of that's thanks to Tim Gross. I don't know if you remember Tim or not.
Yeah, I love Tim.
He's the one that got me into all his stuff. So
Ronald Reagan is killing all the
Ronald
failures.
mask.
Well, it's good Connie didn't go to practice because.
Yeah.
I'm at that aerobics scene now, topless aerobics.
Yeah, it's
Said I'm a little bit behind, but that's good. Like, I've seen this film I don't know how many times, so it doesn't really matter.
Everybody pause and then let them catch up to the.
Did this come out before or after Point Break?
Oh, I need Steve here to tell me that because he's the expert on Point Break.
Because whenever I see someone in a Ronald Reagan mask like that, I immediately think of Point Break. And,
yeah, the ex-presidents.
Yeah.
Point Break was 91, so this came.
Oh, okay.
Point Break ripped off Blood Diner.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
damn.
Well, they stole the naked aerobics from what's the
Linnea Quigley's horror workout.
No, there's a Italian horror movie that has naked aerobics. I can't remember which one it was.
Is it called Killer Workout?
No, it was. Oh, I can't remember now.
Gosh, I don't know.
Was it Murder Rock? No, it wasn't Murder Rock. I can't
Seems
remember.
like that was aerobics was used in a lot of like horror related stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the season of American Horror Story, the 1984 season.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of like it's all slasher based.
Yeah.
And there's a big focus around Richard Ramirez in that too.
Yeah.
But there's actually like some like aerobic stuff in some of the episodes of that too.
Batman, you saw a Facebook post that had Terror on Tour for sale for $125.
It's a deal, Dana.
Wes's head just exploded right now.
If it hasn't been viewed that many times, you can get a pretty good picture. Well, I mean, the best you could get on VHS.
The best version of Terror on Tour I've ever seen is whatever download Steve got. That's the best I've ever seen it look.
Yeah, it sounds like that was from a VHS rip, like a really early, before.
Yeah, there was a guy that used to set up at horror conventions. I've not seen him in a very long time, but he used to just have like his whole table would be nothing but like VHS rips and stuff on all these bootleg, but they were all like really good quality.
Yeah.
And he sold his stuff like pretty much dirt cheap, and I miss that guy. I bought a lot of stuff from him back in the day. I think I bought one of the first ones I bought from that guy was Lunch Meat. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that one, but
yeah,
it's not good, but whatever.
Yeah. Dana gives it a 5. No.
Batman, I guess he's asking about the aerobic stuff, TJ. He said, would it be Nightmare City or the Monsters?
I think it was Nightmare City. Thank you.
Yeah, I forgot about
that one.
Nightmare City.
Super. You're super, thanks. You're
super. I have that one. I have Nightmare City, but I've actually still never watched it.
Oh, wow. You need to watch it, Chris. That movie is crazy.
I need to get my priorities straight.
I love the way they had this like 50s type of music playing in the background all the time.
Well, Jackie Khan did really good at the beginning. It was set in the 50s. Everybody, the cars were. I think it was a VW Volkswagen that may not have been 50s, but all the other cars seem to be 50s.
Oh, there's little Jimmy Hitler. That wouldn't get in a movie either today.
I always thought the same thing, TJ, is that like the beginning of the film was in the 50s, but I watched it when we started watching it this time. I noticed there's like a magazine or something they show in one of the shots, and it says 1961.
Okay.
So, I was on the same page as you, like before that. Like I always thought it was 50s as well.
Yeah, it's hard to designate between like late 50s into the early 60s sometimes.
Which I kind of get that now. That does make a little bit more sense because those clocks were really popular in the 60s. And
Yeah.
I only know that because of Candace, because she's really heavy into like 60s culture. And she's always teaching me new things that I never knew about. So, yeah, she's got a lot of stuff around this house from the 60s.
I know, I love all her retro stuff. It's so cool.
There's also the crossover between decades where stuff from the previous decade kind of rolls over.
Yeah.
That's why movies, and you look at them, they were done in like 81 and 82 seem like they were done in 78 and that kind of, because the cultural rollover takes some time.
Steve talks about music like that. He says stuff that was in the early 80s is still like a carryover from late 70s.
It's hard to distinguish that for when it comes to music, for me at least. Like if I don't know for certain that this song came out in the 70s or 80s and it's something new for me, like it's hard for me to tell, when it's new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I barely listen to new music because I don't like any of it. So
there's very.
I like a song here and there from that. I'm like, I wouldn't buy a whole album or whatever.
I'm really big into like 80s goth rock, like The Cure, Bauhaus, and stuff like that. And I noticed that there's kind of a trend going around nowadays that like there's like some new groups trying to emulate that same kind of sound. So I thought that was pretty neat.
Like electronic music is coming back, or it has been back.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the 80s. That's
Yeah, new wave. Like there's one of my favorite bands is a band called AFI, and their lead singer Davey Havoc, he started a band with the members of No Doubt, which it's pretty much No Doubt, but instead of the Gwen Stefani singing, it's Davey Havoc, and it's called Dream Car, and they sound like they're straight out of the 80s. It's awesome.
Sounds like TJ's looking something up.
That detective, she looks familiar. I wanted to see.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Let's see.
Aren't you dickheads almost done? Uncle Anwar.
She's a ripoff of Janet Jackson.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, let's rip off that guy from Three's Company and Janet Jackson for this film.
What the hell is her name? Let's see.
Now, this is obviously like a take on the Blood Feast stuff with black and white.
Terrible wig. Breasts. Okay, there we go. Some whipping for some reason. Okay.
Now I feel like I'm watching a James Bond movie. I feel like I'm watching Goldfinger now.
She has on underwear, but like men's underwear.
Whenever I see those, like, because that lady, before she started getting fucked up there, she looked like one of the B-52s with that beehive hairstyle. So that's another band that me and Candace really likes, B-52s.
Yeah, I like them too. I've probably been driving Steve crazy because I've been listening to the AC/DC Who Made Who album.
Oh, I've got an Australian release of that album, and it's got like Angus is on like this like medical table, and it's like, have you ever seen that one?
I don't think I've seen that cover.
It's wild. I had never, like, my brother-in-law CJ, he got it for me for Christmas one year. I didn't even know it existed, but I was like, it's really awesome.
These outfits they got on.
Yeah. There's Prince and I don't know and Mo from the Three Stooges.
It does look like Mo's hair.
Oh, that was very trauma. The car going over the guy's head.
That same trauma shot that they've used in like 20 films.
I'm sorry if y'all hear Steve yelling. I think he's playing the wrestling game back in the He always yells when he plays it.
So we have the 4 tops now. That's good. They're all new wave dancing. They said shake. Shake it all about. Didn't Jackie Kong do a commentary? Let me see.
I think she did.
Can't see in this light, but yep, she does. I'll have to watch that.
There's also a featurette, Queen Kong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they have an interview with the project consultant though. But whatever.
That's all they could get. That's you got to put somebody on there. Like when they do a commentary, it's from some YouTube person who I've never heard of. Like, yeah. And then they try to do Mystery Science Theater. I'm like, you're not funny. Don't even try.
Yeah, please don't do that. Yeah.
Can I delete that?
Mystery Science Theater 3000 though. I mean, I know they do like the riff track stuff now too.
Yeah.
And I've not watched a lot of that honestly, because but growing up, like Mystery Science Theater was a huge thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I was one of the very few at my school, at least, that knew what it was, because I would tell everybody at school about it. They're like, I've never heard of that. It doesn't sound very interesting. I'm like,
Steve's mom would always say, Steven, are you watching the dummies again? Because she would call the robots the dummies on there all the time.
Who doesn't have a wig in this movie? These girls are definitely wigged out.
Yeah, everybody has wigs in this movie.
It was the actual 60 that I understand because they all wore wigs back then.
They're still singing about shaking.
It's a long song.
There's something funny about that. I know they call this here. That's an obvious puppet or whatever there. But where it said burgers and dogs and sandwiches, all I could think of was it just says dogs. It makes it sound like they're going to feed you a dog or something.
that band performing in that scene back there, they kind of remind me of that band that's in Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what that guy's name is. Like, he had like the soul glow, like Jerry Curl.
Okay, she's only been in this movie, so I know her from this movie. I guess that's what she probably looks like somebody.
Doesn't it drive you crazy though when somebody looks so familiar and then you find out, oh, they ain't been in anything.
Yeah.
She kind of looks like the actress that played Rocky in Phantasm 2. in a way.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, kind of. Though this girl's Asian and she was black, so
Oh, I thought that girl was black.
she looked Asian to me. Maybe she's, I don't know. Her name wouldn't tell me. Lynette LaFrance. I don't. That doesn't tell me what her.
Mm.
I
That is
mean,
not.
she
I
looks
just,
like she could be Asian and black to
Yeah,
me.
that's what I was going to say. She could be mixed.
yeah, yeah.
She kind of has eyes like Eartha Kitt.
Ah,
You
Yeah,
know?
maybe that's what I'm. She looks a little. Yeah, she looks a little like Eartha Kitt in a way. Maybe that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking about.
From she was like the third Catwoman in the Batman 60 series, and I know her from Ernest Scared Stupid as well, and that's about it.
oh, I think aren't these the chicks that get deep fried? I thought they were.
Probably. Shaky cam. Give me a headache.
Yeah, because he's gonna get out the breading and the batter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Their girlfriends.
Look how Georgie looks like Johnny Ramone.
They need to make a Ramones movie. They need to get that kid from Stranger Things to play him because he looks exactly like.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He's got the same nose. He's got the same face. He's tall.
Oh, are you talking about the guy that plays Mike on
Yeah,
Stranger
he
Things?
looks exactly like Joey Ramone.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would be wonderful.
Somebody's gonna make a movie and do it now.
But you know, Howard Stern also kind of looks like Joey Ramone.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, maybe not anymore, but
Maybe Joey now, but not. That's.
oh,
Oh gosh. I don't think I'd want to be eaten during this scene here.
Brigitte Nielsen? No, that's not. She's not Brigitte.
There went the head.
Well, that looked more real than in Evil Dead when Linda gets her haircut. Peg's been pegged. She's now.
Mm-hmm.
you ever see those memes online and stuff? It's like when it shows like something normal on screen that you're watching, but then it shows like some like crazy scene, kind of like this.
Yeah.
When your parents walk in. I remember when the first time I ever seen this movie, that deep fryer scene. My mom walked in on because I was still living with my mom at the time when I first watched this, and she walked in while that was, and she was like, "What in the world are you watching?"
My dad did that. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. My dad did that, and it was kind of embarrassing because I was watching a Clockwork Orange, and it was the scene where he picks up the two chicks in the record store and takes them
Oh,
home,
yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my god, my dad couldn't have come home at the worst moment."
It is embarrassing, you know, but I think it was something my mom was kind of used to because she knew that like I watched that kind of stuff like constantly, and she's just, you know, my mom was really supportive of me when I started going to horror conventions and stuff. She was always, because I don't know, I don't want to get into it too much, but when I was a kid, I wasn't really allowed to do a whole lot because of my dad. And then, but you know, as I got older and stuff, and was trying to, you know, my mom was trying to push me out there to do more stuff. So
Yeah. My parents always wanted me to do stuff, but I was so shy for a long, long time that I didn't get out and do stuff. And They would have loved me to do more stuff. I just didn't. Batman's wanting to see your Return of the Living Dead shirt, Chris.
Oh, well, Mr.
That is a really cool shirt.
Yeah, I got that from Cavity Colors, I think.
Yeah, they got cool shirts.
Oh, I love their stuff. I buy a lot of their jogging pants too, because they're comfortable. I love them.
I just ordered. They put out Demons. Was it Cavity Colors? I think they just put out.
Yeah, they just did a Demons collection, and I think their newest one they just put out, I think yesterday, was the Goosebumps collection. So yeah, they got good stuff.
So they wrote "Trespassers" on the wall.
Yeah.
These will be eaten. Okay. And then that was a very sharp cleaver. It went right through the girl's body. So
this chick here at this archaeological dig or whatever, she looks like she's had too much caffeine. She looks like me after I've had too many of these things.
What are you drinking, Dana? Is it energy drink?
I've got a Ghost energy drink. It's sour watermelon flavor.
I think Candace told you like what happens to me when I drink energy drinks.
I think she did.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me tell you something. Like I don't drink them a whole lot or anything, but like and usually like in the past I had no issue with drinking energy drinks, but I picked up this one probably a couple months ago, and it was the last one ever. I said I'm never drinking another energy drink. It's called a C4.
Oh, me and Steve have had the C4.
Yeah, that thing about killed me, and I was like, nope, never again.
Yeah, Steve can't drink the C4s now because I think they have a bunch of niacin in them, and he gets flushed whenever he drinks them. So he can't.
I was sweating bad, and
Yeah.
I was like, I think I got to go to the hospital.
Yeah, my dad, they put him on niacin one time, and he thought Mom was going to have to take him to the hospital because he just couldn't get cooled off, and his skin was red and everything.
I think Super Batman Nerd's asking what your shirt is.
Yeah, he wants to see yours too, TJ.
There we go.
When we first started the stream and I seen just the top of TJ's shirt, at first I thought it was a shirt that I kind of like what I have. It's the movie Alligator.
Oh,
I think they did. It was maybe like the Italian or some other country. Like the poster for over there has like a lot of that orange and black backgrounds to it. That would be a fun watch along, Dana. Alligator.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that one either. Have I, TJ? TJ usually knows
so. No.
which ones I've done. Yeah, we'll have to do that one in the future. If I don't already have it on my schedule, I'll pencil it in.
I love creature features involving animals and stuff like that, like grizzly and all that stuff is cool to me.
And you guys will probably groan, but it has very hot Robert Forster on it. I love Robert Forster.
Good for you, Dan.
I think you guys are going to groan with it.
I didn't groan.
No, you like Dana Hush. I don't want to hear about it.
You can talk about guys. I don't care. Doesn't affect my life.
As long as I'm not too descriptive, right?
As long as you don't start talking about inches, it's fine.
No, I won't do that. They must have the 24-hour wrestling channel. It's on all the time.
That sounds like me. For real though, like I'm not really joking about that. Like if it wasn't for like having horror movies and a couple other things to kind of balance me out, I would probably just watch wrestling all the time.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with watching wrestling. I'm just not as into it as I was. I kind of go in and out of
It's
interest
just
in wrestling.
a thing. The thing for me, because I've watched it for like 34 years now. I think I was about 5 or 6 years old when I first started watching, but it just, I don't know. It just became a really like when I first, it was like in the late 80s, early 90s when I first got into it, and they had all these like larger than life characters, like Macho Man Randy Savage and Jake the Snake, and all these, like, they were kind of like almost like cartoon or movie characters, like, but just all they did was like fight, all the time.
You're right. I mean, I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid quite a bit.
Yeah, it was huge in the 90s.
I think Batman agrees with me about the wrestling. It's just like my interest kind of wanes every once in a while, and then there'll be something interesting going on, and I'll watch it again.
It's starting to get a lot more interesting nowadays, because they're, especially with the WWE, because Vince McMahon is gone from the company
Yeah.
now because of all that stuff that he's going through. Like, I mean, it's kind of worked out for the better, because I think a lot of the workers now in the company have a lot more kind of like creative freedom, so that's good.
Hey, Kathy. Here's my one of my all-time favorite scene. This is great.
That looks like a wig too.
Yeah, because he just ran over this guy one time, and he's not gonna stop there.
I wonder what the wig budget was on this film.
I don't know. It took half the money for the film for wigs.
It's like they just ran into like a party city and like just grab what you can find.
And this guy lives forever. He's trying to crawl away.
Yeah, this is like one of the most longest played out scenes in all of horror, because it just like goes on and on.
Yeah, I don't know if this is Troma inspired. This reminds me of like the beginning of a Toxic Avenger when they run over the kid in the car.
Oh my gosh!
Well, they did that earlier in this film, like the head crushing scene. Like that was
right, yeah,
straight up Toxic Avenger there.
Yeah, Jackie had to been influenced a little bit. He's having too much fun there.
But evidently, like I said, Uncle Bill told me that Carl Crew was pretty much like insane like this when they talked to him.
And in this scene with this biker guy, like it kind of reminds me of the scene in Motel Hell with the biker guys in that too.
Yeah. This movie doesn't shy away from nudity.
Nope.
Way, shape, or form, does it?
Well, it was the 80s.
Yeah.
This guy looks a little like Stu Charno, maybe just the nose.
Stu Charno.
Speaking of nudity in the 80s, I'm going to a convention next month, FrankenCon, and like their main guest for that is Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, and Brink Stevens.
There you go.
I'd like to meet Brink and Michelle. I met Linnea like 5 times.
Yeah, I've met Linnea a lot too, and I've never met Michelle Bauer, Brink Stevens, but I know Brink does a lot of shows. I haven't seen Michelle Bauer do a show in a long time. I know she just recently did Cinema Wasteland, but like I think she's been out of that scene for years now. I think she's starting to kind of like get drawn back into it.
Now, I've met Linnea Quigley, and me and Steve met Brink Stevens, but Michelle Bauer, I haven't met her.
I've seen some videos and pictures and stuff from Cinema Wasteland, and like she looks to be like really involved with like fan interaction and stuff like that, and she seems really nice. So I'm excited to meet her. I love like the Nightmare Sisters and
Mm.
Sorority Babes and the Slime Bolorama.
I love that movie. It's a terrible movie, but I love the movie.
Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, you know.
I've got that one.
That's another good one. I love the girl. She like defended herself, and she just got killed by a stalactite. Right? Aren't they? Stalactites are at the top, right?
Yeah.
Stalagmites are at the bottom.
Does that like with the fire going and everything there? Does that kind of remind you of The Howling?
Mm.
A little bit, yeah.
Like not like what was going on in that scene, but I mean just like
the
setting.
You all didn't get butt naked.
Batman wishes he could be at that convention with you, Chris.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. This is just that convention's third year. I've went for the past 2 years, and I love it because it's not like these mainstream conventions nowadays that are huge, almost kind of like their Comic Cons. FrankenCon has a really laid back, really chill environment. It just reminds me of conventions 15, 20 years ago. So that's why I always support them.
That's in Tennessee, isn't it, Chris?
Knoxville, yeah. It's at the Knoxville airport actually, and it's like I said, it's very small, and they have kind of like more lesser known names when it comes to horror. But I like that. That's exactly what fits me. Like I like these like more underground, lesser known. Which not saying that Linnea Quigley is really underground, but you know what I mean. Like she's no headliner for a show or anything like Robert.
She's not nearly as high profile as she used to be either.
Yeah. I mean, but I love that stuff because I think it was last year. It was Jeff Burr was there right before he passed, so that was one of the last shows I remember him doing.
Oh, they're gonna have 3 of the guys from Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. John Dugan and William Vale and Alan Denziger.
Yep.
I wish I could get Steve to go to one of those because I'd really like to get back to that low key type of setting at a convention.
Well, it's fun. It's really fun. Fortunately, Candace and Noah's not going with me so I'm going with a friend that lives here in Hazard with us. He goes to shows sometimes too, and he asked me to go with him to that. TJ mentioned those the Texas Chainsaw guy is going to be there. Like I have this poster here. It's my Texas Chainsaw poster, and it was the first piece I ever started when I was going to convention. So I've got Marilyn Burns on there, Gunnar Hansen, John Dugan, and Ed Neal. And I was like, I have the opportunity here to add William Vale and Alan Danziger to it at that show, but man, it terrifies me to even take that out of my house because I can't, if it gets messed up or something, that's the only piece I have signed by Marilyn Burns.
Right.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to meet Marilyn Burns, and I could have met Gunnar Hansen. He was at several shows I went to, and that's one of my biggest regrets that I didn't go up and meet him when I could have.
Yeah, that first first convention I ever went to was Cinema Wasteland in 2009. It was the 35th anniversary of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I didn't understand conventions fully at that time because it was my first one. So I didn't realize it like everybody was charging $20 for an autograph and stuff at that time. And
what are the days?
So
I remember
those days for real. But I didn't have a lot of money with me when I went to that show, and I was able to just get Marilyn Burns and John Dugan at the time, and because that's just how it worked out. Like, and then I was like, oh no, like I didn't realize I didn't bring enough money, so they were really the only ones I got to meet at that show, other than Lloyd Kaufman. He was free, so
yeah. Batman, are you talking about? You say, I wonder, did TJ read my comment? I guess you mean the comment, I would give anything to meet Linnea, another woman I'm way too young for, TJ.
Everybody's too, she's old. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it nicely, but yeah, she's old. She doesn't look like Linnea Quigley from Return of the Living Dead anymore. Sorry.
No,
no,
we're all gonna get old. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm old now, so.
But like she's super sweet. She's like very nice and.
Oh yeah, she is. But another woman like that, which I mean, she is older, and she's actually older than Linnea, but I still think she looks wonderful for her age. Is Cassandra Peterson? Elvira.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think she's like 68 or 69.
She's in her 70s.
Wow, I
Oh,
didn't
she in her
She's in her,
70s?
she's in her 70s. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she
yeah,
definitely looks good for her age.
she does. She must be like, I don't know, some ancient Chinese secret or something.
Maybe she is a vampire. Ooh.
Oh, Batman says, I made a reference for TJ when he said that I'm too young for Stacy Q.
Oh, yeah. To know who, yeah, to know who she was. I was watching somebody do a YouTube video, and they mentioned they were watching a video, and someone said, "Oh, you look like the Partridge Family," and she goes, "Is that a reference? I don't know what that is." And I was like, "What? am I that old that?" And she's like the person was in like her early 30s. She doesn't know who the Partridge Family was. I felt like I feel ancient now. I know what the reference meant, but
I feel ancient all the time, TJ.
Well, I mean, I know who the Partridge Family is, and a lot of that again is thanks to Candace. But like, that's something I was really never interested in. But like other, I knew that they were a popular thing for their time, though, and it was around the same time as like I guess like Brady Bunch and stuff too, or maybe a little bit before, a little bit after. I'm not sure time frames on that, but I was big into the Brady Bunch though.
Oh, yeah. I always loved the Brady Bunch.
But I mean, even if you don't know about them, you've heard the name. I don't believe she's never heard the Partridge Family mentioned ever.
Was she like a really young or what?
Like millennial, and they're like, I think she just turned 30 or something. I watched one of her other videos.
Oh, that's no excuse. I'm only 37, and I know who the Partridge Family is.
Oh, hush, Chris! You're making me feel old, real old. I'm gonna be 48, June the 6th.
My brother will be too. October for him, but he'll be 48 as well.
That dude just dancing alone. Oh, he just got dragged off. Never mind.
It's like exit stage left. Snagglepuss. Somebody's going like, who's Snagglepuss in the chat?
Oh, there's another obvious wig there.
At least it looks like it's attached to her head, sort of.
Not just like floating up there.
Yeah. That's why the 60s, it was harder to tell because, like I said, all the women wore wigs, so it was harder to say whose hair was fake and whose was real. Not that I was around in the 60s, I'm just saying.
The Asian guy in the red, he reminds me of Brian Tochi from like Revenge of the Nerds, and
oh yeah,
he also did like the voice for Leonardo and all like the 90s Ninja Turtles movies.
Mm.
So they're going back and talking about Uncle Ammar. Yeah. We need to do the Wayne's World thing.
This is like the Halloween Kills when they flash back to Michael Myers.
Only better. God. Oh man, Halloween Kills.
I like
when dies tonight.
I like when CK does an impression of the guy doing Donald Pleasant's voice.
Yeah, it's great.
Did Michael come this way?
That's the only part that I really liked about Halloween Kills was that flashback scene.
He did really good. It looked like it was filmed on the film stock from the original movie.
It looked awesome, but the rest of the film was like, oh, what could they done? They could have just done the whole like film just like in a flashback, and it would been a lot better.
When they're chasing the guy through the hospital, I'm like, this scene is so long. I was just like,
oh man,
would it be over soon? I mean,
I didn't get that. I was like, this feels so unnecessary. like the whole scene with them chasing the guy through the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, and now we're
Jimmy Hitler.
wrestling scene here.
Recently, I was watching stuff about V. Remember the V series?
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that the symbol for the aliens is almost a swastika if you look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't notice that until I recently. I was like, oh, I mean, I knew it was supposed to be referencing
Right.
Hitler and the Nazis and all that, but I didn't realize that the emblem was almost.
I think I was too young when I watched the first time around, and I probably just didn't make that connection. But when I watched it more recently for the Robert Englund retrospective, yeah, I did notice that this time.
I think this is the reason why I love this movie so much, because it mixes horror and it has wrestling involved.
Yeah, exactly.
it's just everything that it fits me, you know.
Is this other guy a real wrestler, or is he just some stuntman they got?
I don't know.
He looks like he knows how to wrestle, so I mean,
yeah.
I don't recognize the dude, so. Which in the end, that's what wrestlers are. They're actors, you know.
Yeah.
They're just skilled in like being physical stuff going on with them, but they're actors in the end.
He gets thrown out of the ring and then he gets up and he's like, okay.
That dude probably really is a wrestler. I mean, he's got the physique of a wrestler. So,
and he does all the wrestling moves too. Well, of course Hitler sucks. We all know that.
Don't cheer for him. That would be terrible.
You ever watch Little Nicky, where when Hitler, they got Hitler in like a maid costume, and he's like, oh, it's that time. It's like a pineapple up his ass.
Chris, Batman wants to know what your thoughts are on the Ready to Rumble movie with David Arquette.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, I can quote many things from that film. It's just like, that's just, you know, I love that movie just because, you know, it's wrestling. It involves the company WCW, which was my favorite growing up. I loved Sting.
Yeah, I liked it better than the WWF. I always watched.
Yeah, WCW was awesome in the 90s. And, you know, also, like, you know, I think it came out shortly after Scream, and, you know, David Arquette and Rose McGowan are both in it. So I like that little connection, too.
Oops. Didn't mean to do that. My mouse just, like, freezes sometimes, and I have to move it around. And
Oop. Hitler was delicious, I guess.
Well, Blissful, I hope you're okay. You got the either exhausted emoji or the sad emoji, so I hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, true crime case just broke. Yeah, I unfortunately I used to watch a lot more true crime stuff, and I can't hardly watch a lot of it anymore. It bothers me more now.
Me and Candace watch them occasionally. There's some really good ones out there. There's one of my favorites is one called The Keepers. I think it's on Netflix. It's about this lady who was a nun, and there was all this stuff like sexual harassment and just like molestation and stuff like that going on within the Catholic Church. and she was like, all these girls were like connected to her, like really close to her and they would come and confide in her and stuff. And then like a week later or something, like they found that nun's body out in the woods. And like like all these years later, the documentary is about like these two girls that were like close to her because it took place in like the 50s. And like, so these two girls who are still alive, they're much older now. They were trying to like, put all these pieces of the case together to try to find out, who did it, who killed her, and like who was connected to it and stuff. And it's really good.
I still do watch some, but it just, I guess, disturbs me more now than it used to. I mean, it always disturbed me, but it disturbs me a little bit more now.
I tell you, one that really disturbed me was one, I can't remember the name of it, but it was on Netflix. It was about these Mormons, and they were they had like this whole like society they built just for them out somewhere, I think in Utah. And so like they were like taking all these young 14, 15-year-old girls that were part of the Mormon faith, and they were having them like marry the one like priest or bishop or whatever he was for the church. And the guy was like 80 some years old or something, and it's really gross.
Blissful says, Chris, DNA forensics is solving so many cold cases, and I would agree with that too. It's
I seen that they were talking about reopening the case of Kurt Cobain. So I hope that's the case, because they put out a documentary about that stuff called Soaked in Bleach, which is really like a lot of interesting stuff, surrounding that. They had this guy that was like a bounty hunter that was hired by Courtney Love. They interviewed him, and I know there have been kind of some rumblings of reopening that case. I really hope so, because
you've been playing with Uncle Anwar's jar.
I want to know a certain ex-football player has died that they're going to start doing stuff about him.
Oh, they've already covered that enough, I think. They did like a show. Was it called American Crime Stories or something?
Yeah, the American Horror Story guy did that.
Yeah, and they did like I never watched it, but I was like, I lived that shit when it was happening on TV back in the 90s. Like, I was in 4th grade, and like all the teachers in school had that stuff on every TV.
I remember. Oh yeah.
And it was from the trial back to like when they were chasing him in the Bronco and
the slow chase.
Yeah, I was like, I already know every bit about that stuff. I don't need to watch some dramatization of it.
Somebody kidnapped Uncle Anwar.
Somebody kidnapped Uncle Bill.
That'll be the next thing. I haven't seen Uncle Bill at all tonight. Somebody must have kidnapped him. I hope his family kidnapped him and not.
Who'd want him? No, that's it. By the way, I looked up Jimmy Hitler. He doesn't act anymore. He worked for some cyber company that does AI stuff. I just looked up his name and I was like, that's definitely him, because it's his face. He's just old now.
Gosh, they're manhandling her.
Oh, punching a girl.
How could they do that?
How wrong is that? That's the best part of the Nicolas Cage and the what do you call it movie? What's the Bees movie? I can't remember the title. Dana, your favorite movie.
Wicker Man?
Wicker Man. When he just starts punching women in the face.
Oh, Batman says, to correct what I said a few streams ago, it was $100, not $500 when Wes lost his shit when they talked about Blood Diner with Mel. I guess I didn't even know they had male on when they talked about Blood Diner.
This is a random thought, but I was watching this and looking at Carl Crew, and does he kind of look like Mark Hamill in a way? Or is that just me?
I guess I never thought about it. Maybe a little bit.
Three dried cat bodies. Find some virgin blood.
Blissful, you say Uncle Bill's not under the couch? Yeah, I don't know where Uncle Bill is.
Yeah, Super Batman Nerd. That's going to be an interesting one when they do that.
Oh yeah, I just read. Now I read his comment.
Oh, about Brian Peck.
Yeah.
It sucks because Return of the Living Dead is one of my favorite movies, and like, how do I say to somebody, "Oh, that's a good movie, you should watch it," when that guy's in it? I mean, it's like,
well, I had to like talk to myself about that after watching that documentary, that Quiet on the Set documentary, but which I knew about the Brian Peck stuff for a year, but I didn't know it was that severe as far as what they got into in that documentary. But I was like, I feel like this is going to bring a lot of attention to his films now, like Return of the Living Dead, and people's going to try to be like, cancel out all this Return of the Living Dead merchandise and stuff because he was a part of that. But I'm like, for me personally though, I don't let it bother me. I don't. Yeah,
you gotta look at the bigger picture.
I don't, because he's a minor character in that film.
He gets killed.
I mean, and he's not one of the reasons why I love that film, honestly. So I mean, I don't let it bother me that much. I mean, it sucks seeing his face because he's a terrible, terrible person.
Well, at least he doesn't look like that anymore. He's fat and weird,
right? But I know it's still him,
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to make something up so it's more palatable.
But like I said, you got to look at the bigger picture with these movies. These movies have a lot of people on there. And if we don't want to look at Brian Peck, we don't have to look at Brian Peck.
Exactly. I mean, and that's a much more like severe situation than some stuff. Like you could meet a celebrity and have like a terrible experience with them. But I don't ever let that affect how I feel about their movies.
I'm laughing at this.
Yeah.
With the bloody hands.
Oh yeah.
Even when he has his hand chopped off, it's just like,
and he's still trying to
tap his hand, and the fake hands falls off pretty easy. No, they're not going to grape her. That's terrible. I have to say that now. You don't want to ruin the stream. Oh, okay. He just cut her down. Okay. Maybe he's going to do it. Never mind.
This guy has had those dang chains on the whole movie.
I think I'm just now at that part where the guy's driving the car with no hands.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's got to be one for me personally, one of the best scenes.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I couldn't not laugh at that. That was good. While we're talking about serious things, but
well, we're watching this movie too, so we can't help but laugh at stuff. But guys, if y'all can hold down the fort, every time I drink these energy drinks, I have to run to the restroom. So
you're gonna have to start putting a bucket under you, Dana.
I'd be like that South Park episode where they were playing World of Warcraft.
Oh God, that's one of the best ones. I love that.
You just buy diapers and just. You'll never have to go.
I don't want to resort to that, but I'm going to take myself out of the stream for a second. I'll be right back.
We can look at the obvious fake blood coming out of that head there.
I think I know what you're talking about. I've not got there yet on my side, but I know what you're referring to.
We're in the back of the van.
One of my favorite lines from this movie is at the very end when Sheetar gets into the car with the guy, and he's like says something like, "Before I put my sausage in you," or something. "What's your name?"
It's very quotable line. We have a different band now. You'll get to that in a second.
So did Jackie Kong directed this, but did she write it too? Who was the writer for this?
That's a good question. Some guy named Michael Saunier, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Those nightclubs in the 80s was such a huge thing for that time.
Yeah.
They're featured in like so many 80s movies.
90% of Purple Rain took place in a club.
Yeah, well, that's true. I've only seen Purple Rain one time, but yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a good question to raise for what's your favorite 80s film that includes like a nightclub scene? Mine's probably Fright Night.
I was thinking that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the dance number in Fright Night. Yeah,
because that scene is just like, I don't know, because I'm kind of partial to vampire films anyway. So, and that whole scene between Jerry and Amy, where he's kind of like seducing her and stuff in the club, and they're dancing, is just I love that shit.
Let's just put some green makeup on these guys.
They're zombies now.
Another
cheap way to make zombies,
like the early Savini days, Dawn of the Dead.
Exactly.
Everybody was gray, but it filmed blue for some reason.
Right.
So the guy who wrote this wrote Cold Steel, Commando Squad, Frozen Scream. This must be wrong. He couldn't. Maybe, I don't know. 1975.
Candace mentions Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah, that's what I was getting around to
that.
Candace, I was getting around to that because that was another one I was thinking of a moment ago. Was the Earth Girls Are Easy scene where they're in the, and I love Downtown Julie Brown in that. Which I know she's not, Gina Davis is more the focus.
The other Julie Brown. Downtown Julie Brown's the one that was on MTV.
Yeah, she's in Earth Girls Are Easy.
She is? No, that's the other. No, the white Julie Brown is in Earth Girls Are Easy.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was Downtown Julie Brown that was in.
No,
now I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
That's regular Julie Brown. Yeah. Downtown Julie Brown was the DJ on the VJ on MTV.
I thought that was the same chick, man.
No, different people. Yeah. She's actually on an episode of Julie Brown's old MTV show, Just Say Julie.
Candace says TJ is right. Sorry, Chris.
Wow. I only knew of one, and I thought it was the same chick this whole time.
Batman mentions Scarface is another good one.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of,
Yeah.
Is it nightclubs? I've never seen Scarface.
So. Oh wow, yeah, you should watch that one sometime.
Yeah, that's my brother-in-law CJ's favorite movie, I think. And I mean, I know there's very popular scenes that are on like clip shows and stuff all the time of it, but I've never sit down and watched that, or like The Godfather. I've never seen that either.
Okay.
That kind of subgenre of like films, I guess like mafia and mob stuff. I'm not much into that, honestly.
Yeah,
having Nazis in this movie, didn't they?
Yeah.
Of the band, there are a couple have swastikas on their sleeves.
And they had the Hitler mustache.
Yeah. I didn't know. I never noticed them before.
That guy's hairstyle, that singer of that band or whatever, he reminds me of Lyle Lovett.
Yeah. It's,
Trumpet, saxophone, Hitlers.
well, this movie seemed to go by fast. There's not a whole lot left of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a little under an hour and a half long, I think.
I think it's like 88 minutes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's pretty gory in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the girl had a really obvious prosthetic on her neck.
Yeah.
The prosthetic should be the same color as her neck, not a totally different darker color.
Oh, man. Cheetar's puking up some pea soup.
Ugh, all over the girl. All over Connie. They didn't even try to really paint the zombies that well. They're just like, yeah, we'll just slap a little green.
Yeah, slap a little green makeup or something on you. It's good enough.
Okay, I know what I got confused about a moment ago because I had to think about that, the Julie Brown stuff, because I got her mixed up with this. It was the show you were talking about. I was thinking of a show that she did called Just Say Julie.
Yeah, that's the white Julie Brown.
That's what I was thinking of because like I knew that I was like, that's the same girl from Earth Girls Are Easy. I was like, but what you were talking about was something I'm not sure what you were talking because I didn't.
You said Downtown Julie Brown. That was the name of the video.
Oh,
that's the downtown part was the one that. So you
that's
know
what I always called.
You just got added the.
Yeah, I heard the name, I guess, years ago, Downtown Julie Brown, and that was the only Julie Brown I ever knew. So I've always called her Downtown Julie Brown.
See, if you ever met her, she would have been like, that's not who I am.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. So
that's why she was Downtown Julie Brown, because the other one existed before her, so they had to.
Yeah, I guess
I was both on MTV.
Very savvy to MTV stuff, unless it was like Headbangers Ball or something.
Ricky Ratman. Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah.
Candace says, I talk about Downtown Julie Brown, and he's got confused.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
That's what it is.
Oh, the lead singer's now dead. Oh, well.
Mm.
And zombies are just going to start eating people.
That one they just showed was a pretty cool zombie. Not that one, but the one before with the eyeball kind of hanging out.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Super Batman Nerd. That's one of probably my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, yeah.
A few days ago when they were like, everybody on Facebook was talking about the eclipse happening. I was like, yeah, it's Skynet's just getting ready to become self-aware.
Oop, shot his brother. Yeah, Kelly Maroney posted a photo of like clothes on the ground, and she's like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen after."
Oh no!
Right, exactly.
gosh. I have this Night of the Comet shirt that Candace bought me, but it's from this company called Creeporama. And I have other stuff with theirs, like long sleeves and regular t-shirts, and I've never had a problem with them. But the Night of the Comet shirt that she bought me was a baseball tee.
Oh, I remember this.
And it shrunk.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't fit me anymore.
She's got teeth all over the place.
Blissful says Night of the Comet is one of her favorites. Yeah, it is mine now. I don't know why I waited so long to watch it.
It's very 80s. It's fun. It's a Christmas movie, no matter what anybody else says. I say it's a Christmas movie.
I agree. It's a Christmas movie.
Starts before Christmas. It ends after Christmas. There's all Christmas in the middle. It's decorations. It's Christmas music. It's got all the stuff that makes it a Christmas movie.
I follow Kelly Maroney on Instagram, and I know I think it was last year, maybe the year before, she was trying to track down the original cheerleader outfit that she had in the comic.
Oh, yeah.
And it like sold at auction or something. But fortunately, like the guy that bought it in the auction sold it back to her.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's put this head on this stretcher here.
I knew somebody that supposedly had Linnea's costume from Night of the Demons, but
Blissful, you said your ex-boyfriend was on Headbangers Ball a few times. Who's your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, which one?
Had a lot of ex-boyfriends that were notable.
Say that again.
No, I don't mean.
I know what you mean.
I wouldn't try to say it in a bad way.
She won't divulge, I bet, because she's
she's got the emotion.
She's tight-lipped about.
Yeah, she's not going to tell us.
Oh, come on, we're all friends here.
Was it Ricky Ratman? Did you date Ricky Ratman?
Yeah, going back to what I was talking about wrestling earlier, WCW, Ricky Rackman actually worked for WCW right towards the end before they went out of business in 2001. He was like, I just did like backstage interviews and stuff, and I was like, wow, that's Ricky Rackman. I was like, what's he doing in WCW?
Oh, this guy's making a big mistake.
When Ricky cut his hair, I was like, oh, he's going corporate now.
Yeah,
he used to have the heavy metal hair, and then he got
because he had the short hair in WCW. I was like,
yeah, that's probably why
he sold out. It's like they don't want me on MTV anymore.
Blissful says he's a good guy. I never dated him.
She met him. Did she date Danzig? Did she date Glenn Danzig? Or Ari Vaughn? Did you date Ari Vaughn there? Blissful.
He's a business genius.
And now directed by Jackie Kong. If you hadn't,
you know, it's a good 80s club scene, Vamp, but the whole movie takes place at the club.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I finally watched because they showed that on Joe Bob recently.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I've ever seen that movie. And I was like, why did I wait so long to see this? Because I loved it. Even though I can't, what's her name in the film? And what's the actress's name in Vamp?
Grace Jones.
Grace Jones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was never like Candace loves her, but I never got into her. I don't know what it is because she was on like a Christmas special of Pee-wee's Playhouse one time.
Yeah, she sang a Little Drummer Boy.
Yeah, I don't know. I never was a big fan of hers.
She's in Conan the Destroyer. Yeah, she's in Conan.
Yeah. I knew she was in one of the Conan movies.
And View to a Kill. She's in the James Bond movie.
Blissful evidently did not date Danzig. either. 'Cause
Okay,
she
well,
just got no.
he wasn't tall enough.
So I enjoyed watching Blood Diner again.
Yeah.
I
I
hope you
love
guys
it.
did.
You haven't seen it for a long, long time.
It's not been too long, but it's been a little bit.
Like,
Yeah, it's the same for me. Like I've seen it many times, but I think this is the first time I've watched it in probably 5 or 6 years, maybe.
I think I probably watched it more recently than either one of you guys, but like I said, it's still been a little bit.
I mean, my Blu-ray wasn't even open, so that's the last time I saw it. Wasn't on my Blu-ray.
Batman says, I used to have a VHS tape that had Headbangers Ball recorded on it. It was the first time I was introduced to Sam Kinison from
Yes,
the Bon Jovi
I
MV.
love Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was a very like unique comedian.
Mm-hmm.
He always did the whole yelling thing and
Yeah.
wore the trench coat. Which that's a big thing I'm actually into. I love stand up comedians.
Me too.
One of my favorites was Norm Macdonald, and I mean,
yeah.
he had like I guess an acquired taste, and he's more of like a dry humor guy. But I love that stuff. Him and like Mitch Hedberg too, you know.
Yeah, both Kinnison and Norm Macdonald, they're both gone.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Kinnison was just cleaning up his act. He was getting off of drugs, and then he got to a hit and run. Some guy killed him, and
there was a music video from a band in the 80s that Sam Kinison is in the music video.
Oh, I think I remember that.
I can't remember who it was. Maybe Candace might know.
Blissful says Sam's video of Wild Thing will always be near and dear to my heart.
Was he in a Bon Jovi music video, Super Batman? Because that's not who I'm thinking of. There's another video he's in. It wasn't Bon Jovi.
Yeah, I remember him being in a video. I just can't what it was.
Yeah, Wild Thing he sang. That's not what you're talking about, though.
No, he wasn't like singing or anything in it, but he was in the video. I know he was also part of like some kind of TV show too, where he played like the conscience of the main character or something. Where he was like,
I remember that. It was on Fox. Can't remember the name of the show.
Gosh, usually I'll remember this stuff, but like when it's needful, I can't remember it.
I tried looking it up, but I can only find songs that he sang.
Yeah, I'm finding Wild Thing, but I'm not.
Yeah, I know he did that one, but
he did a music video with Ozzy Osbourne was in it, and David Faustino was in it.
God, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I can't find. Boy, David Faustino was young. Anyway,
now
see if I can find it.
Maybe it's on his IMDb. Remember when you can find things on the internet? Now there's so much crap on it, you can't find things you're actually looking for.
Well, I found some. What's this Sam Kinison Under My Thumb?
That's a music video with Sam Kinison. I think he sings that song.
Okay.
That's the one where Ozzy is the judge.
Maybe it's just like one of those Mandela things.
Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Is that
That's it. There. Thank you.
Okay.
I knew he was in something like that.
Candace, or not Candace, but Blissful doesn't like Motley Crue, so she'll probably say, I don't like those guys.
Me and Candace got a big Motley Crue poster up in our bedroom.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's from that whole Shout at the Devil era. So.
Mm-hmm.
Blissful says Bon Jovi, the whole band was amazing guys, very cool and nice. And Batman says Bon Jovi, Bad Medicine, and Married with Children when they did a homage to It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah. Speaking of Married with Children, Anthrax was on Married with Children once, where like they.
Joe Bob was on Married with Children.
Yeah,
Kelly's Boss, I think.
It was a commercial he did on there once too, like where he was like, it was.
Wasn't he like spraying for bugs or
Yes,
something?
that's it. That's it. Because I know that I posted like a screen grab of that on the Joe Bob Instagram one time, and I had to go because I didn't know about it honestly, and I went back and I found that episode that he was on. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
He's in Back to School. He's the teacher.
Yeah.
Say it!
I love Back to School. That's great. That's got Keith Gordon in it, Rodney Dangerfield, Robert Downey Jr.'s in it, I think.
And he did a voice in that episode of Tales from the Crypt we talked about. Where
oh, is it the one where like the guy is like a music club promoter, and because
Denny Spinall in that from Married with Children. Peg Bundy's in that.
That guy that plays that promoter is the guy that's like in those Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
I forget his name.
Yeah,
I remember him once. He was on that show once upon a time. Yes, I watched that show. Don't make fun of me. Anyway,
Blissful says crew. Okay, my mind usually blanks out about them. LOL. I knew she would say something like that. Yeah, she's not a fan of them.
Lee Arnenberg. That's who the guy was in that episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, and speaking of Tales from the Crypt, that's another guy that's going to be at that FrankenCon next month. It's the guy that he did all of the effects for season 3 of Tales from the Crypt. I think his name is like T. Brooklyn Bellissimo or something like that. He also did he made the bear, or not bear trap, but the head trap thing from Saw, the first Saw film.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
And he also made the Loki mask from Jim Carrey's The Mask. And but he did like all these other mostly like horror films. He did, like I said, Saw, and he worked on, I think, the effects on Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw 3.
Yeah.
And like I said, Tales from the Crypt, all of season 3, he did like whatever effects that they did for all of those episodes, he did them. So very cool. I'd like to meet him.
I guess from what Blissful's saying, Chris, is don't meet Motley Crue. She said they were wonderful until I met them quite a few times.
Well, I imagine that they probably are like assholes in reality. But I mean, if you watch like that movie that they did on Netflix, what was it called? Machine Gun Kelly played Tommy Lee, and I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, like they just seem like they're, they probably would be very nice if you met them in public. And also we saw them like on one of their reunion tours a few, I don't know, probably about 5-6 years ago, because they were touring with Alice Cooper, and it was supposed to be like their final tour, but it wasn't. But they went downhill bad as far as like live shows go. But Alice Cooper's awesome. I mean, he's older than those guys in Motley Crue, and he's still like, he's awesome, man.
I would love to see Alice Cooper, but Steve has absolutely zero interest in seeing him.
Man, that sucks. I love Alice Cooper.
I don't want to meet him because I heard he's not a great guy to meet.
I've heard some stories too, but man, like as far as like stage shows go for live performances,
yeah,
he's top tier, man.
Blissful says Alice is so cool.
Okay, then I think they were talking about it on Dead Pit last night, how he's not the greatest guy to meet.
Yeah, I remember someone mentioning that on Uncle Bill's show there. He did.
It was Rambo, maybe? Somebody said that. I was like,
what been Rambo? Because he's never been to a convention. It might have been Mark that said that.
Mark, yeah.
But I know he said that he said someone said to Alice Cooper like, "I've loved you my whole life" or something like that.
Yeah.
And said Alice Cooper said, "Well, you must have had a very dull life" or something like that.
Yeah.
But Blissell goes on to say Alice was always very nice.
Maybe he was kidding, but you don't know unless you actually hear him.
Or maybe he was having a bad day.
Yeah, I guess you kind of have to be there, kind of maybe take, because everybody takes stuff different ways, I guess. So he could have been joking. Never know.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's hard to, know exactly what somebody means, but he could be having a bad day and just kind of lashed out or something.
Unless it's Bruce Campbell, because he's an insult comic. He insults everybody.
But
Bruce Campbell, I mean, Chris can tell you this, and so can Candace. When I met him, he was very nice.
Yeah, he's very cool. He was so, because you were right in front of us when you met him at that show at Fright Night, and me and Candace, we witnessed your interaction with him. He was very cool to you. He was very cool to us.
Yeah.
His manager sucks. I hate that.
Oh yeah,
Bruce's manager, because he was very rude to pretty much everyone coming through that line. Was trying to get us don't. He was kind of he didn't say it, but he was insinuating don't talk to Bruce, just get your shit and go on.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
But he was talking to us. What were we supposed to do? Not talk to him?
Bruce was just talking to us, and we were like, well, I'm not going to just sit here and be silent and not talk to him back, But yeah, he's very cool. But and the way I see it, going back to the Alice Cooper stuff is, at least he's talking to you. Yeah. My worst experience ever was with Edward Furlong. And Terminator 2 is one of my all-time favorite films. And I love Pet Sematary 2 and, Brain Scan, a bunch of other stuff, he's in. And I don't let those movies affect of what the experience I had with him. But this dude was at Fright Night in Louisville one year, and this was 2011. So it was still kind of the, him being on drugs and stuff, that type of era with him. Yeah. But he's I think you were right in that area, Dana, maybe. Because Candace was talking to somebody around his table at the time, and I think it was you. But I was going to go up to meet Edward Furlong, and he's just sitting there on his phone, and then maybe a minute or two goes by, and he glances up, and then he just looks back down at his phone, and I'm the only one there in standing in his line to meet him, and then finally his handler just kind of leans over the table and says, "Can I help you with something?" And I was like, "Yeah," I was kind of hoping to get an autograph and maybe a picture with him, and then the handler just kind of leans down and whispers something to Edward Furlong, and he goes, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that." And then so I brought this press kit from Pet Sematary 2 and had him sign that. And then I was like, "Thanks." And then he just went back to his phone again. And I'm like, "Okay, can I get a picture?" And he just goes, and he takes his sunglasses off, and then takes a picture with me. And then I was like, that was the worst experience I've ever had with a celebrity. To this day, it still is. And I've had people tell me, "Oh, he's better now. Give him another chance." Go meet. I don't know.
No, not after that.
I don't know if I can, because it really ruined me on
him. That's humiliating too when you go up to meet somebody and they act like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was it, but luckily, I looked over that because I went right after that to meet Michael Baldwin from the Phantasm films, and completely opposite.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, super cool guy.
Now, Bill Thornberry was nice to me, the one that played Jody in Phantasm, but he was not like Michael Baldwin at all. Michael Baldwin was more animated and more willing to talk to you. Bill Thornberry was more by the book.
And did Bill Thornberry pass away?
I didn't hear that he had, but sometimes I don't hear that people have, and then somebody will say, "Oh, so and so passed away."
Let me look that up because it seems like I've seen something a while, because I know Angus has passed away for several years now, but
did he do a lot of conventions? Because I know Michael Baldwin did a bunch of them, but did
I think Bill Thornberry did a lot.
he didn't do a lot. Bill Thornberry.
Maybe that's why, because he wasn't used to conventions much, so maybe he was a little off-putting because he didn't know how to react. Maybe I don't know. I don't know him, so I'm not making excuses for him.
He's still living, apparently.
Yeah, he's 71 years old.
Yeah, I'm hoping they make, because they just added some guests for Scarefest in Lexington this year. They got A. Michael Baldwin and Reggie Bannister and Reggie's wife Gigi.
I met Reggie Bannister too. He's cool.
Which I've met Reggie and A. Michael Baldwin, but I never got to meet Bill Thornberry, so I never got to meet Angus Scrimm either, but I do have his autograph.
I met him just a little bit before he passed away.
Yeah, I have his autograph because a buddy of mine that lives in Virginia, he did like Monster Mania or Chiller Theater or one of those shows in New Jersey, and he got Angus on my Phantasm poster for me. That was a couple of years before Angus passed, so yeah, unfortunately I never got to meet him, but everyone's told me stories and stuff and said he was really nice.
Oh, really sweet man. And like when I finally got up there to meet him, somebody had just brought him his lunch, and I felt bad. I was like, somebody just brought this poor man his lunch, and I'm up here wanting an autograph and a picture. And he's like, no, come over here. And then, I said, but your lunch is there. He said, no, that's okay. I can eat that in a little bit. He's just very gentlemanly and very, very nice. And he signed my old Phantasm sphere. He said, oh, somebody else has already signed it. I said, yeah, I had Don Coscarelli sign it. So I have Don Coscarelli's signature too.
Yeah. Hopefully they get him too for Scarefest, because I would like to meet him for a multitude of reasons. Phantasm, Bubba Hotep, John dies at the end. I love Don Coscarelli, man.
Yeah, he was really cool when me and Steve met him. We've actually got a picture where he's kind of like, I think he's holding the one of the spheres up to my head, like it's getting ready to go in my head.
Is it like the sphere with the drill?
I think it's just one that has like it may have even been one of our spheres or something. It just has the blades coming out of it.
They made so many different of those spheres for the Phantasm films, and that's one of my favorite franchises in horror ever. I mean, it's got my favorite car in it.
Oh my gosh. It's the Cuda.
And I always compared Reggie as kind of like similar to the Ash character from Evil Dead,
Yeah.
He's especially in Phantasm 2, like he's got the the shotgun he like creates with God, I can't think of I can't find what I'm trying to say. But you know what I'm talking about, like the weapon he makes and Phantasm 2. It's really awesome. It's kind of reminiscent to Ash doing like the stuff in Evil Dead 2 with the sawed-off shotgun and everything. And but I always kind of for the longest time, I don't feel this way now, because Ash is probably my favorite horror movie character of all time.
Yeah.
But there for a long time, like I was really deep into the Phantasm films, and I preferred Reggie over Ash.
I always loved the Phantasm films, but there's a soft spot in my heart for Ash and the Evil Dead films. I mean, I wouldn't call myself the Evil Dead chick if that wasn't the case. But I'd be the Phantasm chick or something.
Is that why?
Now, did you say is that your favorite horror film of all time, Dana's the original Evil Dead?
Yep, I can safely say that.
you may be a little bit disappointed in me, but like it's of the original three, the original Evil Dead is my least favorite.
I can understand that, Chris, because I imagine that's the way it is for a lot of people because the humor that came later in part two in Army of Darkness, I think that's what got the most fans. I think because the first Evil Dead movie was so dark and pretty much straight ahead horror. Um, I think that's probably why it's probably not a lot of people's favorite, especially of that first, the original trilogy of films.
Yeah, I was kind of late to the game with those films. The first one I seen out of that trilogy was Army of Darkness, and that was like in the mid '90s when I first seen it. And then I, I really liked Bruce Campbell's acting in Army of Darkness. So the next I was looking for his films in particular when I would go to the video store after seeing Army of Darkness, and I found those Evil Dead films. And when I rented those Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, I had no idea that they were even linked to Army of Darkness at that
Yeah.
time until I watched them. And I was like, oh wow, this is the same character.
Hmm. And I did not watch, I've said this before, I did not watch them in order. I saw Evil Dead
Yeah.
2 before I saw Evil Dead, and then I saw Army of Darkness. I remember being so excited when those trailers came on for Army of Darkness and the teasers and all that. I was like, oh man, Ash is back. I can't wait till this comes out.
Um, I was going to get back around to this because I didn't mean to ignore your comment, Blissful, but I seen you talking about how Chance to Catch Sebastian Bach. Yeah, we've seen him. I know I've seen him a few times. I know Candace was at one of the ones I went to that he was playing, but I consider him one of the greatest like metal vocalists of all time. I mean, he can still do it to this day. Like he's got some range for sure. Both him and Rob Halford of Judas Priest.
Hmm.
Sebastian was in Rocky Horror at one point. He did a version of Rocky Horror, the play, and he played Riff Raff.
Oh,
I would love to
Really?
see him play Riff Raff. That would have been cool.
Kathy, so you enjoyed the Blood Diner? Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that. There's another one that you can go back and watch and never get tired of it. I don't think. Um, let's see. Batman says, "I thought Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2 were stupid, but many years after they became my fave." Well,
Well,
it has
yeah.
to grow on you.
It's that Three Stooges humor, because that's
Mm-hmm.
like what heavily influenced Sam Raimi to put that kind of humor in those films, and that's really like what helped me become a fan of the Three Stooges.
What did you think? Have you seen the 2013 Evil Dead?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris.
yes. Me and Candace went and seen it in theaters, and I didn't care for it at the time, but I rewatched it. Probably it was earlier this year. I rewatched it again
Mhm.
because originally that Jane Levy was supposed to appear at Horror Hound this year in March.
Oh yeah.
So I was gonna rewatch the film, and I still, it's not like one of my favorites or anything, but I think I enjoyed it a lot better now than I did back in 2013.
I'll still say the only way I will ever watch that damn movie again. This was the only
As you
movie.
can tell, Dana loves the.
This was the only movie in the history of me going to see movies that I ever wanted to get up and physically walk out of the movie theater. I was so mad. I'm not mad at anybody that likes it. If you like it, you like it. But the only way I will watch that movie again is if, like, the Dead Pit Boys do a commentary, a fan commentary, and want me to come on there, I'll do it. Or if somebody, that's has joined my channel, wants me to review it. Of
Yeah.
course, I'll have to go back and watch it, but that's probably the only 2 ways I will ever go back and watch that movie.
Just shit on it for 2 hours.
If that guy was on the Dead Pit stream yesterday who dropped $220 to the Dead Pit
Oh my
guy,
God.
paid you money, would you watch that guy? I was like, what is, why do you keep giving them, like, especially give them like a couple of bucks if you really want.
What I mean, what did he give it to him for?
$220 the guy
He was
dropped.
just he was just doing like $20 like super chats over and over and over, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. I was like, this dude's dropping some serious cash.
Was he wanting them to read his comments?
I
or-
guess
Well, that's why
so,
he did it.
yeah.
I mean, but they read comments anyways. But I mean, yeah, Dirk was keeping track of how much the guy made. And I was like, $220. That's crazy, dude. I mean, like,
Yeah. Well,
if
it's
you want
like
the money to blow, sure, but I mean,
they did a stream one time. I can't remember what it was about, but there was a guy that did that same thing, you know, and I think he ended up dropping somewhere around $400 or $500.
wow, that's crazy.
It was like, whoa, that's a lot of cash to just give away for just wanting you to read their comments, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Dirk dropped a lot of cash when I did that Champagne and Bullets commentary. Well, I'll never do anything like that again. I will never get caught up in a thing where everybody was like, drink more shots of Fireball whiskey, Dana. No.
Yeah.
Dana's out of that. I'll drink Fireball whiskey, but I will never like overdo it on that stuff again. I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah, maybe I don't understand it, but like, or maybe I'm just a tightwad. I don't know, but I can't drop that kind of money for somebody to read my comments.
No, I can't do it either. But guys, if you want to stay on here with me for another about 3 minutes, then I'm probably going to have to call it a night.
Okay.
But this has been like one of the ones to go down the books for me. It's been a fun one.
Yeah.
I had 2 other people on here with me. The only thing that would have made it a little better is if Uncle Bill had been able to be on and carry on with us about this movie, because I know it's one of his favorites. So,
You want to hear Edward Furlong story? It's his story.
Sure.
He did a interview on a show. I forget what the name of the show was, but and he talked about Terminator. So he did Terminator 2, and he was supposed to do Terminator 3. So I guess he was doing a lot of drugs back then. So they put a clause in his contract: if you're arrested or you owe, for any OD or anything like that, we're gonna, you're not gonna get any. You're not gonna be in the movie. You're not gonna get any money. And it was like a big multi-million-dollar, like, money he'd probably never seen before type of payout for that movie. Mm. So what happened? He got together with a bunch of his buddies. They went out to a club. Next thing he knows, he's waking up staring at the ceiling. He overdosed at the club.
Oh,
he got in the news, and he lost the movie. So he lost a lot of money because he just had to party with his friend.
Was that around the same time when he was stealing lobsters from Walmart?
I didn't know he was stealing lobsters.
That was
Yeah.
mentioned in the interview, but yeah, it might have been around the same time. Drugs is an addiction, so it's not like it was his fault, but like, it's like, why would your friends have stopped you from losing? Especially, like, you're going to lose all that money
because they're not good friends.
Yeah. But again, Terminator 3 wasn't that great, but anyway.
Blissful, to answer your question about did I have a favorite floor that night, it was any floor that I was on at the time, because I spent a lot of time on
the floor.
On the living room floor. I said this before, I crawled. I did not walk. I crawled most of the night from the couch in the living room to the bathroom to throw up. That's how sick I was.
The porcelain throne, they call it when you're throwing up.
Oh, I was miserable, and I was miserable for about 3 days after that. I still didn't feel good. Well,
I don't drink anymore. I did years ago.
Wise choice, Chris. Wise choice.
Yeah,
I never drank like that, like Dana.
I've not had a drink of anything alcoholic in long time. I couldn't tell you how long, but it's been a
He
while.
doesn't hardly drink anymore.
Back in those early days of like when we were doing when we were all at the conventions and stuff back in the early 2010s or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the highest point for me when I was like drinking, like when we would go to those after parties and stuff, and like, but I don't know. I just guess as you get older, just like everybody's body is different, and it really caught up with me, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, it hits you at some point, and I think part of my problem was I didn't sow my wild oats when I was young. I waited to start drinking like that in my 30s, and it's not really a good idea. You want to be doing that stuff in your 20s or something. Don't do it when you start moving into the 30s, and definitely not when you're in your 40s, because it will take you down really quickly.
Oh yeah.
The only beer I drink a lot of is Root.
There you go. That's the kind.
What was it, TJ?
I said the only kind of beer I drink constantly is Root.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite sodas too, man. Is
yeah.
root beer. I mean, I'm a connoisseur when it comes to root beer. Mug, A&W. Yeah, I love it. Barks.
Barks is great. Yeah, I like Barks.
Thank you, Blissful, for saying this was a great live. I had good company with me on this one. It would have been boring as all get out if I hadn't had TJ and Chris on here with me.
Come on, give yourself more credit than that, Dana.
I know I'm a boring person.
Your show, people tune in for you. Come on. You didn't always have people on. You used to do it by yourself.
I did, but I don't think I had as many people watching when it was just me either. But I try.
Dana, I think you should have like subscriber goals. I think once you should like make a goal for yourself, and if you reach that goal, you should cosplay as Cheryl from Evil Dead for that next.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what, Chris. Since you brought that up, if we can get me to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm over 800 now, I will cosplay as Cheryl.
Awesome, I love it.
And watch the Evil Dead 2013 before you reach 1,000.
Well, okay, we'll wait till I get to 2,000, and then
2,000? Okay.
Unless the Dead Pit Boys do a fan commentary for it, and they ask me to come on there, then whichever comes first.
Well, I think they have a shock, whatever they call it, the baller and shock collar level that they have opened. I guess they do. If you're at that level,
did
you can suggest
somebody drop out of it?
No, I don't know. I just maybe they had another opening. I don't know how they did.
Aaron's, I'm sorry, Uncle Bill said that it was they had a slot open up. He mentioned that that was on last night's stream, right, TJ?
Yes.
Yeah, he mentioned that opened up. So I think it's like $50 or something for everyone to jump on that.
Some people's top tier is like 100. That's pretty low, $50. I hear when I watch streams and people talk about their top tiers, and I'm like, boy, that's a lot. Who's going to pay $100 for somebody to do? And Rambo does them all the time. I don't know what he charges, but he does paid watch-alongs and reviews and stuff all the time.
I didn't know that Rambo had like a tier thing like set up like that.
Yeah, I don't know what
some kind of setup.
Yeah, I don't know if he does. Does he have Patreon? I don't know his like.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I just watch his videos. I don't pay for anything. So.
Rambo is
You're like me.
Yeah, I can wait for them to re-show it or just let them talk about it. I don't really need to spend like give me $10 a month so I can
do that for sure.
If you do that, that's cool. It's not. I don't have to think about that, but
Blissful, I need to make a goal, but you gotta hold up your end of the deal though. And she'll probably say I'm not making a deal. But when I get to a certain amount of subscribers, Blissful's got to come on camera and be on a stream with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get her. Yeah. Get your butt on here.
See, you heard it from TJ.
She don't care what I say.
Oh, I think she does.
Super Batman. I don't pay for them, so he brought up You Me in the movies.
Yeah.
I do watch them all the time. Yeah, every once in a while I'm on. They do. They don't do lives. Well, they do lives once a month, but they do watch-alongs, and once in a while they'll. No, actually, every week they do. They like play it live so people can chat while they're during their. I forget what it's called, during their pre-recorded videos. And every once in a while, I'll see Super Batman will show up in there, or Movie Junkie John shows up in there. I was like, hey, what are people doing in here?
So you guys, Chris, TJ, y'all are my witnesses. Blissful just said deal.
Yeah, I seen that. We're
Hold you to that. I don't trust her.
TJ's gonna get a screen capture.
Let me have
He's gonna bring that up when I
have a log about that.
You gotta get on here and talk about your ex-boyfriends that was on Headbangers Ball.
There you go.
She should get Slash
to get on here. She has the greatest stories ever.
She should get Slash to come on the stream.
Well, gang, I mean, this has been so much fun, and it's, I'm not going to go into details, but the past week has been kind of rough on me. It's been rough on other people. But this was really what I needed to make me feel better and make me even more excited about the channel and all that. So I want to thank Chris and TJ for coming on here with me. And damn you, Uncle Bill, you didn't come in here. I got to do that. I got to yank his chain all the time. And
thanks for letting me on. It was nice to meet you, Chris. And I really liked you guys, you and Candace and Chris all together. That was a cool.
Oh, thanks, TJ. I appreciate that, man.
That was, it was really fun.
Yeah. Candace and Dana, that's gonna be a regular thing now, like on Fridays. So, that time slot that they do, I would love to be on there for some of the things they'll be doing, but unfortunately that's when I'm at work.
Yeah.
So maybe one of these days if I'm off on a Friday or something, if they let me off,
you can pop on with us. And
I know. Yeah. Candace said that you guys were doing one next week about like showing off vinyl records. So maybe like, are you guys going to do it around like the same time next week as you did yesterday, or?
Yeah, we'll probably keep it at that 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. Yeah. So, I may pop in there for like a few minutes or something while I'm on, because that's around the time of my lunch break. So maybe I can get on there for like a minute and show off some records or something that I got in my collection.
And I want to let everybody know, because me and Candace had kind of been discussing this too, that if you don't have vinyl and there's something else, movie related or horror movie related, a collectible that you got, that if you want to come in live on the stream, as long as everybody can behave themselves, and I don't think I got to worry about the people that are in here right now not behaving. But if you want to come on, just let me know, and I can get you the link so you can come on and show off whatever stuff that you want to show off. So it'll be vinyl for the most part, but if somebody's got something else really cool they want to show off, then we're open to that as well. Blissful says she can't wait for that. Music is so healing. I agree. Even the heavier stuff is healing, because I was doing housework today, shampooing carpets and doing stuff like that, and I was blasting AC/DC while I was doing that, and it just makes it easier to do stuff like that, stuff that you're kind of dreading, kind of putting on. I don't really want to do that, but I have to.
I've always felt like it's music. If especially some of your favorites, your favorite stuff can be very therapeutic. Especially if you're going through a hard time or something. Like one of my favorite bands is Typo Negative. I don't know if you know who they are or not, Dana, but
I've heard of them. I don't know that I've listened to any of their music.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you would like them or not, but I mean, A lot of their stuff is kind of horror influenced. One of my favorite songs is called Wolf Moon. It's about werewolves and stuff, and then they got one that's called Bloody Kisses. Now, that song is actually about the lead singer Peter Steele's cat that passed away. But the sounds of the song remind you of like vampires and or if you ever played like the video game Castlevania.
Yeah, I remember
it
that.
has that.
I was playing that the other day. I have a game console that you can put games on. Yeah, I was playing.
I love Castlevania, man.
Blissel says she thinks I will like them. I'll have to try finding some stuff.
I know what you did last summer. They do a soundtrack. They do a cover of Summer Breeze. It's very like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. They did a lot of. They did one. It was a. I can't remember who the original person that wrote it, but it's called Cinnamon Girl.
Yeah.
And they did a cover of that, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Wednesday 13, Blissful. Blissful introduced me to them. And also, has anybody listened to Ice Nine Kills? Steve got me into them.
I have. I like their premise of like where all their songs are based on, or pretty much all their songs are based on horror films. But I don't know. There's something about them that I can't get into that much. But I mean, I love their influences and stuff that they put out there in their songs. That's about my extent when it comes to them.
Right. Yeah, I hadn't even heard of them. Steve was like, listen to these guys. And I was like, yeah, I like that pretty well. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to listen to that, Steve. But I was like, I'll give them a try,
Which, that's one, that's what gets me into a lot of bands is they have like horror influences and stuff in their songs. Like, one of my all-time favorite bands is the Misfits. I actually have them tattooed on my elbow. It was one of the first tattoos I ever got. I mean, I like all eras of the Misfits, mostly the Glenn Danzig era, but and I even still like the Michael Graves era, even though he came out being this big like white supremacist guy. But
great! I didn't know that. I have a couple of his albums, like solo albums. Like, well, now I can't listen to those albums.
But it's the same thing though. Like when I was talking about earlier about the Return of the Living Dead with Brian Pack and all that. Like, I'm not going to let that affect how I feel about the music and stuff with the Misfits of his era, because one of my all-time favorite directors, George Romero, actually directed the Scream video.
Yep.
And it's an awesome song, man. Like all that stuff is good.
Well, I'm not going to pay for anything else. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it other sources where I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, it was very disappointing when I found that out about him, and I was like, man, I never would have expected that.
Yeah.
Blissful, yes, send me Wednesday's horror collection because she says it's a full room. So I definitely like to see that. But all good things must come to an end, unfortunately. But hopefully we'll be able to come back and do more fun stuff, because this was a lot of fun. Got me out of my funk, which is what I needed. And now I'm just, when I get out of my funk, then I want to be all creative and make intros and do T-shirts and do commercials and do all that. So that stuff's coming. I'll even make a commercial for Friday Foolish because I really want to do that. And so, again, I want to thank Chris and TJ. I want to thank everybody for being in the chat tonight. And you guys, Chris, TJ, y'all got anything that you want to bring up or promote or anything before we get off here?
I just watch Friday Foolish with Candace and Dana.
He's going to promote us. TJ, you got anything coming down the pipe?
I should start working on the YouTube projects I want to do, but I'm so lazy. I don't.
Oh, you're not.
When you get down to after everything else you got to do during the day, and then you got to like be creative, and I'm like,
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get creative. You know, when you get in these funks, like I was talking about, you just don't want to do anything, and then I have to. There have been times when I just literally had to pull myself out. I'm like, Dana, you got to stop this. You got to go and do something. Do something creative. You'll feel better.
yeah.
But sometimes it's hard. It's hard.
Like yesterday was my mother's birthday, and she's been gone for 2 years, and it's. And then there's a YouTuber, a TikToker I follow, who I just found out he has the same cancer my father died of last year, and I was like, oh, this is really a depressing 2 days.
Man, I hate to hear that, man, because like that's something I've been fortunate enough to not experience yet. But Candace did lose her dad last year, this past December, and I was close with him on that level, almost the same as my own dad. So it's I know how you feel, man.
Thanks.
And so
I'm sorry, I brought that one down.
No,
man. No.
It's better to get it out, TJ, than to
Don't bottle that stuff up, brother.
We want to have a safe environment for people to talk about whatever they want to talk about, even if it's sad stuff. It needs to come out, but I won't dwell on that too much because I don't want to make everybody sad or anything. Yeah. But I guess me and Chris and TJ will get out of here for the night. But I just want to remind everybody to be kind to each other and blaze that trail. Make that trail your own. And we'll see everybody next time. And please give a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Subscribe.
Yeah. Join if you're financially able to.
Zip had like 120 people last night, and they only got like 40 likes. I'm like, what is?
Yeah, what's going on there? That's not fair.
That guy, I bet the guy gave $220, but he didn't probably give a thumbs up.
Probably not. You're right.
There we go. I ended on a joke. There we go.
So good night, everybody. Chris.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.